Welcome to Hearts and Stripes, your one-stop shop for all things military marriage. I hope our discussions and interviews equip you with the tools to start or grow a beautiful marriage as we address the benefits and challenges of marriage. I believe life's most precious moments are worth celebrating, so I'll help you design your marriage blueprint in alignment with your core values. Thank you for joining us, and remember to rate, subscribe, and review. Let's do this. Hello, and welcome to Hearts and Stripes podcast. I am your host, Bree Carroll, and I am excited to welcome you to this Heart to Heart. So we have a very special guest today, Juvilyn Garcia. She is a fellow advocate for military marriages, and I absolutely love her story. So let's jump into it. Juvilyn is the 2020-2021 Marine Corps Recruit Depot San Diego Spouse of the Year. She was a military brat along with her husband, which they later reconnected and married. Now they are Marine Corps family. She's a mom of 4 boys, a full-time dermatology nurse, and a consultant for Zaya on the side, which I love that entrepreneurial spirit. So without further ado, here is our chat with Juvilyn. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Hearts and Stripes. I am so excited for this episode. This is one of, if you can like fangirl over like just another mil spouse, this is just a friend of mine. We have not met in person as typical military spouse life goes, but I am so excited to have my special guest here, and she's going to share a little bit of insight from her military marriage and some things, maybe even a challenge that can encourage you to strengthen your own. Juvilyn, say hello to everyone.
Hello, everyone. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. I know I was truly inspired by a lot of your posts that you were putting out at the end of 2020, kind of encouraging some physical fitness and some other things that kind of spoke to my heart when it came to military marriage. So I'm super excited to have you on the podcast. But before we go into all of that, tell me a little bit about your marriage story.
Of course. So my name is Juvilyn Garcia. I am the Armed Force Insurance MCRD San Diego Military Spouse of the Year 2020-2021. So super excited to be here. For those of you that don't know, I am a military brat, so military goes deep in my soul. Me and my husband actually met. We were military brats back in Okinawa, Japan, in grade school. Back then, we never thought we'd be together.
That is so cool, though. I love this.
So he is actually 2 years younger than me. So I was like, he's young, we'll never meet up. But life happened, and we got reconnected when I was going to nursing school, and he was at his first duty station in Okinawa, which happened to be my dad's one of my dad's last duty stations. I went home for the holidays. We connected. We went on one date, and we started off long distance, and we went through a few MU deployments, and we've been together ever since.
That is so awesome. I love that you both are military brats. So you already understood the lifestyle. It's been ingrained in it. Like it was normal for you guys. So that is so awesome. I think that is the first time I've heard a marriage story like that. Like absolute first time. So I want to jump into a little more about you. Shout out to Armed Forces Insurance Military Spouse of the Year program. We have some amazing people in that program, and dare I say it, family, because it is beautiful to see how military spouses come together in the MSOI program. I would love to just share a little bit and have you share on your platform how you're serving the community and what were some big reasons why you were named our 2020 and 2021 MSOI. So share with us.
So for me, it really, so Uh, Being a drill instructor, that's where my husband's currently at. It's a very sacrificial billet. You hear all the rumors. It has the highest divorce rate I can't even explain. And so for me, it really hit home for couples. I think it's really important, just like your platform. I think that's why I've been so drawn to following you and your journey. I think it's really important to have a strong, healthy marriage. And not just that, getting involved. So I think a lot of spouses go into the depot lifestyle. Already taken back because of all the rumors, and they don't really invest in being present, and I think that's really important. And so if you don't support your spouse, you're not going to make it, and that's just reality. It's a harsh reality. I think that's a reason why a lot of marriages don't make it. But I made a vow to myself, even though my husband was hardly going to be home, that I was going to be present and I was going to support him. And communication, I cannot it's really important for my platform for spouses to understand that communication is so important, especially in a military marriage,
I
because
so
marriage,
agree. Yeah.
I think it's hard to communicate, but throw military in there, and it's a whole different ball game. So for me, I reach out to spouses every day. I'm very big at just connecting with them and seeing how can I help them and make them understand that your marriage is worth it, but you got to put in work. So whatever that may look like to you, you have to put in work. It's very important. So that's what I'm doing. People were really inspired. I started off with my small Charlie company, started expanding to the battalion and just seeing how I can help them. And before I knew it, that small little depot became my second family, and I was just reaching out from marriage to marriage to marriage. And now I'm all known on the depot. Everyone knows my name, and it's really just
Yes.
for
You're the rock star. And I love it. And it's awesome to see just how engaged people are when you share. That really means that you are a leader in the space and that you are impacting lives and marriages. And I think it's in the small things that we do, right? Like you said,
yeah,
you as you reached out, as you connected with people and started encouraging people, they truly do become like your family, and you look out for one another. And I think that is the thing that if I could share is probably missing in a lot of military marriages, having those other couples that are like on the same page, like they're
yeah,
like-hearted. They both, you both want your marriage to be grown, be successful. You both want to have a good time. You can hang out for like a movie night and do like a double date. Like
yeah.
we need more couples who are together on
Who
on
walk
this thing.
through.
Yeah,
I
I
agree.
love it. I love it. I absolutely think what you are doing is so valuable. And like you said, just how you guys serve as a family takes a lot of sacrifice. So caring for those groups who are going through that is huge. So thank you so
Yeah.
much for everything that you're doing. I know you're saying you looking at me. No, it takes all of us, right? It really takes all
Does.
of us. We are stronger together for sure.
We do. I completely agree with that.
So let's dive in a little deeper. As you encourage spouses, is there maybe one bit of advice or one big takeaway that you try to share with your military couples and spouses?
I do. So one that hits home, many people hear me talk about it. I think I talk about it daily, if not every hour. It's communication. I literally can't stress it enough. And we started off, we have a strong foundation now, but it took work. It took a lot of time. And believe me when I say it wasn't easy. Deployments aren't easy. Being away from your spouse isn't easy. But what I learned over the years of being a military spouse for the past 8.5 years is communication. There's a difference between talking at your partner and talking to your partner. And that took a lot
Absolutely. Yes.
of time
Yes.
for me to
Tell us.
actually do that. And I think, and you know what, for like 2 years, I swear to you, before we started doing marriage enrichment courses, I swore I was talking to my partner, but going back and looking at who I was not. I was talking at him and expecting him to understand how I felt and to meet my emotional needs. And he couldn't even understand it because it was just so aggressive and so he shut down. And that's what happens. I feel like so many military marriages, especially, they shut down because you're not working as a team no more. You're just seeing all of the things that they're doing wrong,
Yeah.
and you're just dictating what matters and what doesn't. And it's until you work as a team and actually fully, wholeheartedly communicate with each other. I think that's a big word, is with, is when you see
Yeah.
the difference.
Let's
Our
unpack
marriage
that.
literally
That
worked.
was awesome. It takes work. And I love that you said these different elements. In the beginning, you thought you were communicating, but you were more so speaking at one another. You saw times when he would just completely shut down because he wasn't, receiving what you were saying. So that was a hint that that wasn't good communication at that time. But I also love that you said you did marriage enrichment programs. And the funny thing about that, and the reason why I want to highlight that, is because a lot of times, a lot of military, they don't think beyond a chaplain that there are a lot of resources. So if you could share about some of the resources that you've taken advantage of.
So, oh my goodness, I can't even think of the acronyms, but there is a course that comes out every month for military couples. Once a month, the military completely pays for it. So we started finding out about it from the chaplain, but they literally post it like all over the depot. I'm sure other places, and we were in Quantico. I saw it too, but it's literally a weekend course. They pick the location. You just got to drive there. They pay for your hotel and room and board. They pay for your meals, but then they pay for these courses for a speaker to come and actually like have you be with your partner 100%. No cell phones are allowed, no electronics. Like you literally are just focused on your partner. And that was huge for us. Back when we thought we had little problems, no, we had bigger problems. And it was because we didn't really talk about those bigger problems because it's scary. But these enrichment courses, I'm telling you, we've gone on 5. Um, and it takes work.
That is awesome. Yes, 5. I love that
Yes,
though. That is great. And I'll put a link to it in the show notes so that
yes.
people can see, because every branch, they call it a little something different, but you're absolutely right. It's military funded. It is absolutely free for you. I know some installations have childcare provided if you need that, but it's a nice weekend. Typically it could be away. Some people do it at a destination. We'll see how that unpacks via
Yes.
COVID with everything going on. But these are free opportunities that are at our fingertips that I feel like a lot of couples don't take advantage of. So to hear you
Advantage.
doing 5, that is awesome.
Yes. And I tell you each time, like when we went on the second one, I was like, oh, it's probably gonna be just like the last one. It's gonna be repetitive, but it's not. It was a whole nother experience. And I feel like our marriage has grown so much because we take advantage of that. It literally helped us to see things that we didn't really know was bothering us. And I think that's key, is to keeping your marriage alive. You have to invest. I literally can't stress that enough.
No,
But
that
yeah.
is awesome. So, for anyone who is listening that may be wondering about the types of retreats and the things that are done there, can you kind of give us like 3 different things that you realized at there? Like, was it spiritual? You mentioned speaker, so maybe share a little bit like that. And did they have any like a course book? Like, was it really strict? Just kind of share maybe 3 ideas so that if anybody is like, I'm not sure. I kind of want to know what I'm getting into before I do it. Like, what are some, like, maybe 3 things that they could expect?
Okay, well, one is, it is kind of spiritual because it is by the chaplain, so you do get that spiritual aspect of it. But even if you aren't that spiritual, I think there's 2 other keys that I always take away from it. Is one, you get a workbook. So for many of you guys who don't like journaling, I know I wasn't, but it's really good because it's accountability. So you get a workbook and you're actually writing down your thoughts. So what you're learning, questions that you have to answer that you're going to be sharing with your partner. It's just a big accountability tool, and it kept me in line. It opened doors of maybe I should be reading into more things. And at one of the retreats, actually, one of the speakers, um, the 5 love languages. That's a whole nother chapter. But if you guys haven't
Oh,
read that, you guys
yes.
should,
Please
because I
check it
literally,
out.
yes, I learned my husband's love language at our second marriage retreat. So when I tell you, communication, I was the reason why our marriage wasn't had a didn't have a spark in the beginning was because I thought his love language was one thing and it wasn't. So he wasn't
Yeah.
was because I was pouring into the wrong cup. So
Mm.
that, and lastly, they call it little powwows, and I'm sure other branches have different, but for us, like the last day, it's a powwow, and I tell you each time I know what to expect, and me and my husband literally cry, because it
Aw.
it digs deeper into your marriage on like why are you with this person? Why are you committed to this person? And why do you choose to fight on the days where you want to give up? And I tell you each time, I expect it, but like it digs so deep.
Mm,
And because we're a couple that almost quit at a certain point, and it wasn't when we were even at a hard duty station, we know, we both know, like the work you put into it is the work you get out of it. And so
yes.
you can't you can't think your marriage will be up to par if you don't invest in it. And I don't know how else to explain that.
I love those 3 areas that you just pointed out. So I hope that clears things up for anyone who is wondering. I know that powwow alone has maybe has a lot of people like, "Ooh, maybe I should try that." I loved the concept of having that workbook and 5 love languages. For those who are listening, Dr. Gary Chapman was a guest on a past podcast episode. We'll link to that in the show notes as well. But I absolutely love that you guys stayed committed and continue to going, and I think that's a beautiful statement of, like you said, marriage is work. And it's like, once you do some work, it's not like, oh, I did that, so we should be fine. It's a
Like,
continuous thing. So I love that you continue to pour into your marriage. And you made a great point. You were pouring into the wrong cup when it came to your spouse. As you learned his love language, now you're able to fill him up in the way that he is able to receive it. So many huge points that I think we can all learn from the marriage retreat. I will say, I will also link, by all means, guys, contact your chaplain. Even
yes.
if you do not consider yourself a spiritual person, the value that comes out of these retreats is worth it. And they, your chaplains, they are always very accommodating for any religious belief, any background. They're just great. They're just great people, period. So I would say take the advantage of these opportunities. Another thing I wanted to foot stomp is for the Military Marriage Day page on militarymarriageday.com, we will actually be putting out a resource guide for marriage resources specifically. So look out for that. We'll have a link to the different branches, chaplains areas, so where you can see what different programs are offered by branch, and then additional resources, whether it be programs, books, webinars, all those good things. We'll have that link for the militarymarriageday.com page. Awesome. Well,
I
no, that
love
is
it.
fantastic. I'm so glad you were able to give us the scoop on those retreats and how you've seen such benefit from them. I guess I also just wanted to wrap up with maybe my favorite segment of the when I talk to different guests, and that's heart tracks. So our
Yeah.
heart tracks, for anyone who this may be your first episode joining us, heart tracks is just a song that our special guest gets to choose, and it may symbolize something in their marriage. It may be their theme song going through, it could be their wedding song, or something that is tied to the message that they are bringing here on the episode. So I'm curious to know, what is your heart track?
Our heart track. So I'm so glad because I am very passionate about this song, but it got us through our hardest times, and I always know that we made it. And this is like our anthem. Every time it comes on, we like dance to it. But it's "Bones" by Maren Morris. I don't know if you've heard of that.
Nice.
So that song.
So tell us why. You got to give us the backstory. Why does
Uh,
that song motivate you guys and keep you guys going?
So if you guys haven't heard the lyrics, it basically talks about like going through hard times, but I want to sing it. But you get through them, and I think that's, you literally get through them. And in the beginning, it was like we're at the home stretch of the hard times, and I'm gonna cry. So it literally hits home for us. And for those of you that don't know what a depot lifestyle is, the last 2 years, we're on a better schedule now, but the last 2 years, my husband was home maybe once a week. So it was pretty much a deployment for me.
Yeah.
I had just had the twins. So I was raising the four boys by myself pretty much, because when he'd come home for those 2 hours, it was to sleep. Um,
Yeah.
he, as strong as our marriage is today, I literally didn't think we are going to make it out of here. So when I look at other people and they're inspired by our story, and just if you guys were to follow me, so much feedback of how I'm inspiring other marriages. We got through it, and because of those hard times, it's so rewarding. This is my most
Yeah.
TV station, and that song, it's a key anthem and reminder, that even through the hard times, it's gonna be okay. It's
That is
gonna
so
be okay.
That is so
Um,
beautiful. I love it. And I can see you getting emotional. When you're thinking of the song, we will definitely have that on our Heart Track Season 2 playlist. You can find that playlist on Spotify. So thank you so much for just sharing your story, being real transparent about how tough it can be as a military marriage. And for anybody who may be at that tough duty station, kind of give them some last words of encouragement to kind of keep them moving forward.
so I just want to let you guys know, give yourself grace. I think that uh, a lot of us forget, a military spouse, it's different than just a regular spouse, and life can get overwhelming, and throw in deployments, it gets even more overwhelming. But just know that you're doing the best you can, and this is just one stepping stone to the next. And you're gonna make it. You're gonna make it. And as long as you put your best foot forward and you stay positive, it's gonna be okay. It will be okay.
That is amazing. You should follow the Garcias. They are amazing. They have been doing 14-day challenges, getting people motivated, inspired, encouraged with physical fitness, just sharing their story. They are a beautiful couple to watch. And I continue to root you guys on as you represent strong military marriages. We need more out there. So thank you so much for just being a light to couples. I so appreciate that. It really does encourage it. It does. It really does. It encourages me even to see couples happy and thriving and not just going through the motions, because for the amount of sacrifice that we have and that we choose to do day to day, I love to see military couples thriving, enjoying each other's company, not bitter and hurt as they go through this military life. So thank you so much for being on Hearts and Stripes podcast, and thank you for being a light.
Of course, thank you.
Thank you for tuning in. Remember to rate, subscribe, and review. This is Hearts and Stripes. We are the few, the proud, that aim high and are forged by love. Always ready, always there. We are Mill Marriage Strong.